Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Ashutosh again with a happy hour of coaching session. And today, as you saw, the topic is more related to Scaled Agile Framework. And moment this word Scaled Agile Framework comes in front of us, right? We get overwhelmed, right? We get very much overwhelmed with the information. We get overwhelmed with what we call as the big picture, what is there, right? So I am trying to simplify some of the things in a scaled agile framework. This webinar is in no ways to substitute the knowledge which is already available on the Scaled Agile website. You can always go to scaledagileFramework.com and you can get authentic information from Scaled Agile body there. But this is just to simplify some of the things which we all have seen, or which we all have tried to learn as a part of our understanding about a scaled agile framework, right? So this is all to make it a little more simplified. So before I move ahead, just wanted to check how many of you are working in a scaled agile framework. How many of you in the audience, if you can just ping in, or if you can just raise your hand, that should work. That how many of you are actually working in a scaled agile framework? And same also on the LinkedIn live. If you can just let me know how many of you are really working on a scaled agile framework, and any experience. Okay, I don't see any chat coming up. But yeah, so you'll have to respond in a chat, all of you. How many of you are working in a scaled agile framework? How many of you are certified as in any of the scaled agile framework? Any of the certificate you have? Any of you has got any certificate on scale? I hope my voice is audible. Just wanted to check. Yeah, okay. So I think, yeah, we can, yeah, now I'm getting a confirmation that yes, I'm audible. Thanks. Okay, so I do see a couple of associates who are already certified in Scaled Agile Framework. As I said, the intent is not to replace the knowledge which is already there. The intent is to tell things in an easier manner, right? If you want to explain things in an easier manner, how do we explain these things, what we have, right? Okay, so I'm going to talk, this particular talk is, I'm going to restrict only for the 4 core values of the Scaled Agile Framework and 7 core competencies. So I'm going to restrict my talk only for this area, because safe, as we all know, it is an ocean of knowledge, right? There's a huge knowledge which is there as a part of Scaled Agile Framework. So it's an ocean of knowledge what we have. So the intent here is to just restrict myself for the 4 core values and 7 core competencies. Just to set a background, Scaled Agile Framework, or SAFe, is based on lean, agile and DevOps principles. So three things come together and blend and create a Scaled Agile framework model. What we have, as I said, lean, agile and DevOps principles, right? And as I said, the entire information is available on the Scaled Agile website, and I'm going to open the website in front of you in a moment. So this is the Scaled Agile Framework website which is there, and I'm going to just restrict myself to core values, the 4 core values which are at this bottom gray color panel what you see here. And if you click on this, of course, on the actual site, you will come to know what are the 4 core values. And I'm going to restrict myself to the 7 core competencies. The 7 core competencies are part of business agility. So if you click on the business agility tab, you will get those 7 core competencies which are here at the bottom. Here are those 7 core competencies on which I'm going to focus my discussion around it, right? So that is what is the plan of action for today's session. Before that, a quick round of introduction about myself. Ashutosh Bhattodekar, an agile coach, a change agent, and been in the industry for almost 20 years now. I also have my YouTube channel. In case anyone is interested to learn more, do watch my videos on the YouTube channel. So there, I have shared the link with all of you, and do encourage, share this link with your friends, with your colleagues whom you think could be benefited by going through the videos on YouTube channel. So that's my YouTube channel for the benefit of all of you. And in case you have any queries after this program or after this webinar, please do connect with me one-on-one. I'll be more than happy to talk with you one-on-one and discuss with you one-on-one on any of the topics. All right. So with that brief introduction, let us move ahead and let us try to understand the four core values of the Scaled Agile Framework. So as I said, the core values are located here. So if you click on this palette on this, the core values will come. Your 7 core competencies are listed here in the big picture of Scaled Agile Framework, what we have. Okay, so the four core values which are there are alignment, built-in quality, transparency, and program execution. So those are the four core values on which the Scaled Agile Framework rests. Okay, what are values? Values are what we I mean, those are big statements, what we say that we'll try to attain. The actual thing comes out in principles. The actual execution of values happen through principles. So let us try to understand what exactly are these four values in a scaled agile framework. Alignment, built-in quality, transparency, and program execution. And then we'll move on to the 7 core competencies which are there. Okay, so let's go ahead with the values. And the first value which I'm going to pick up is alignment. So what does alignment mean to all of us, right? What does alignment mean in an agile way of working? So one of the ways in which we can think about alignment is one of the principles of Agile Manifesto. Business people and IT people should work together, right? That is one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is that the Scrum Master and the team, the Scrum Master and the product owner, and the product owner and the developers, they are in alignment with each other, right? So there are multiple ways of looking at this alignment work. Or let's take that if you have multiple scrum teams working together for a product, then these scrum teams have to be aligned with each other. So when we talk about the alignment value as per the scaled agile framework, what alignment means here is, as we all know, in a scaled agile framework, what we see is we have multiple layers, right? And if you look at the scaled agile framework, I'm not going into those layers. There's an essential safe, a portfolio safe, a large solution safe, and a full safe. But there are multiple layers what we have, right? Although most of us predominantly work at the essential safe layer, but there are multiple layers which operate. So alignment means that across these layers, is there an alignment between stakeholders? So remember, there are different roles which are participating in these layers. It would be a product owner, it could be a system architect, your product management team, your solution architect, train engineer, solution architect. Then what we have is your solution owner, right? A portfolio manager, right? So those are the different people who are actually working across these various layers. So is there an alignment between these layers? Is there really an alignment between these various layers? Is what we call as the alignment, as the first core value of the scaled agile framework. So when we talk about alignment, the backlog needs to be aligned. The portfolio is at the top level, as we know. Then if you have a large solution layer, there's a solution backlog, a program backlog, and a team backlog. So there are multiple layers of backlog in scaled agile framework. Are these backlogs in sync with each other? Because at the end of the day, what is a team doing has to sync up at a program level, it has to sync up at a portfolio level, right? As I said, there are different actors, there are different stakeholders who are working across these four layers. And alignment means that are these backlogs actually in sync up with each other? Apart from this, alignment also refers to the fact that is the portfolio vision which the organization or the enterprise has, is it aligned with everyone in the art? So art, of course, is agile release train, which we know that it's a kind of a virtual organization which exists between 50 to 125 people, what we say, right? But is the portfolio vision really getting translated at a ground level? And are we really developing what we should be developing? So that comes in as a part of your alignment. That's nothing but your alignment what we have. So that is the first core value of the scaled agile framework what we have. The second one is built-in quality. Now this is a very interesting what I say value, built-in quality, or it is called as quality being baked in into the process. What do we mean by built-in quality and quality being baked in into the process? Let us try to understand, right? Let us try to understand this as we move along. So I don't know how many. I'm sure, of course, everyone has basically know this product. What I'm talking about, Ferrero Rocher, one of the premium chocolates available in the world, right? Ferrero Rocher, it's one of the premium chocolates available in this world. And yeah, I'm sure all of us have tasted it. All of us have gifted it to someone. All of us would have actually also bought it from the market many times. The unique thing about Ferrero Rocher, I don't know if you have seen this video on Discovery Channel and National Geographic when it came. You know what? Each chocolate is exactly of the same consistency. Each chocolate what we have is exactly weighing same, and it is of the same consistency. Even if one piece gets distorted by even a small milligram, they discard it. Now that is a kind of built-in quality we are talking about, right? Quality is ingrained in your process. Quality is something, and as Deming said, the very famous quality guru, Edward Deming, the creator of the plan, do, check, act cycle, or the PDCA cycle, he talked about a very important point related to quality. But what is built-in quality? That whatever I do, quality is ingrained into my product, right? Many of us think that, you know what, let the product get developed and then we will do testing, right? I think when many of us have been used to that way of working, that let me first develop a product and then let me carry out testing, right? So I will do the testing after the development is over. You know what, Edward Deming in 30s actually discounted this as a wrong method. He clearly says, and this is what I quote from him: inspection does not improve the quality nor guarantee quality. Inspection is too late in the cycle. And he was talking about more from an automobile industry where a car rolls out of an assembly line, and before you send it to the dealer or before you send it to the sell it to the customer, it is actually inspected. It is inspected and checked thoroughly. But what he's saying is quality, if you're doing that, that is too late in the journey. That is too late in the journey what we have, right? So that is something which means that the defect has already got injected into your product. So can't we build quality in such a way that whatever activities we are doing, quality is ingrained in my process? Cost of quality, right? Cost of conformance plus cost of non-conformance, right? Can we improve the cost of conformance? Can we train our employees? Can we tell them how a product needs to be built, rather than wasting time on inspection or rather than wasting time on testing? Can we improvise the product, or can we improve the quality of the product? So that's what comes in as a part of built-in quality process what we have. Okay, let us move ahead. Let us move ahead to the third one. The third one what we have is transparency. Any idea what is transparency all about? What exactly is transparency all about? I think there's a similar value in Scrum also. There's another similar value in Scrum also related to transparency. Anyone? Openness, right? I mean, we talk about openness, right? Focus openness, right? So that's transparency is basically that, is there a culture of trust? Is there a mindset of openness in the team? Or you know what, I'm hiding some information from my team members. So you know what, many times we see, right? I mean, the full information is not given to the team members. We only give partial information to our team members because there is a lack of trust, or there is an absence of trust. It's more of a opaque culture than a transparent culture, and openness is clearly missing. So the third value what we have, core value as per the Scaled Agile framework, is a culture of transparency and openness. Do not hide anything. If your program predictability measure is not as per what it should be, then show it, right? Rather than suppressing it under some information, or making it basically undercover, try to expose it, make it open to all the stakeholders, right? So that is what comes in as a part of transparency. So that's the third key core value of the Scaled Agile principle, or the Scaled Agile framework, sorry. The fourth one, program execution. This is the heart of Scaled Agile Framework. And you might be wondering why I have put this picture here. The fundamental reason why I have put this picture here is because this entire program execution happens through what we call as an agile release train. It is called as an agile release train, and agile release trains are the mechanisms of delivering value. So whatever value we want to give to our customers or end users, it is through an agile release train. The agile release train is focused on business outcomes. So at the end of the day, we are going to give a business outcome. We are going to generate a business outcome to our business, right? So that is what an agile release train. So agile release train is the vehicle through which your program gets executed. It's targeted towards the value stream. Value stream is a concept which is from concept to cash. How quickly we can realize from a concept to cash? How quickly can you go from a concept or an idea to cash is what is called as a value stream what we have. So this is the fourth value or fourth core value from a scaled agile framework perspective. Yeah, so these are the four core values which I have explained as a part of this four core values which are there: alignment, built-in quality, transparency, and program execution. Now as a coach, as a change agent, this should be always be on our tips and toes, right? Alignment, we have to make sure that all the stakeholders are aligned. We have to make sure that the built-in quality is there. We have to bring about a culture of built-in quality, or shift left what they say, right? Can I reduce my testing time? Can I reduce my testing time in such a way that the team is confident about the product, like that Ferrero Rocher chocolate? Can I bring about a culture of transparency and openness? And lastly, we have what is called as a program execution, and the primary vehicle for delivering that program execution is through agile release train, what we call. Okay, so now let us shift gears and let us move to the next piece of our discussion, which are the seven basically core competencies, right? So we'll talk about the seven core competencies. And to get to those seven core competencies, we have to click on the business agility tab, the blue color tab, what you see on the top of this picture. So those seven core competencies which are there, and this all material is officially licensed by SAFe, right? A Scaled Agile Framework is where they have licensed this entire material from. And these are the seven core competencies: a team and technical agility, agile product delivery. I'm going from here: team and technical agility, agile product delivery, enterprise solution delivery, lean portfolio management, organization agility, continuous learning culture, and last but not the least, the lean agile leadership, right? So those are the seven core values which are there, right? Those are nothing but your seven core values which are there, right? Now let us try to understand these seven core values one by one. So the first one is team and okay, but before I go to those values, what is important is that at the core of it, or at the heart of it, is what we have is customer centricity. You cannot deny that, right? The customer is at the heart of it, right? Or the customer is at the core of it, is what we see here. So whatever we are doing, whatever actions we are taking, that is keeping in mind the customer, right? So customer is someone who's at the core of it, right? The customer is at the core of it, and that's why you see the customer centricity, right? Customer centricity is the heart what we see here. So whatever we are doing, right, whatever steps we are going to take, at the end of the day, it is going to be from a customer perspective, because we are there because of customers, right? In fact, there's a very famous quote, right? Who is the real boss? It is not the boss to whom you report to you in the organization. It is basically customer is the boss. They can decide whether to keep us in job or to throw us away from the job, right? So that is what the customer centricity is the core part of this entire picture what we have. So again, I'm not going into the details of these seven core competencies, but at a very high level, I'm going to touch base on these seven core competencies. And what exactly do they do? And those of you who are interested in doing a Scaled Agile certification, yeah, please connect with me. I'll be more than happy to talk more about it, what exactly it is all about, which are the different certifications which are available. Okay, so coming back to team and technical agility, we talk about agile teams here, which are, as we know, high performing cross functional teams. The built-in quality again gets comes in here, just a reinforcement that quality is baked in, which means whatever you do, it's a good quality product which comes out. And more importantly, we have to break these functional silos. So we have to create a team which cuts across these functional silos. Rather than having these functional silos, we have to cut across these functional silos. And so we have to create a team of teams or an agile release train. So agile release train is a virtual organization, and agile release train consists between 50 to 125 members, as I said, and they work towards building what we call as a program increment. And program increment is that value which you are delivering to your customer or to your end user. So we have in team and technical agility, we have agile teams, we have built-in quality, and then we have team of teams or team of agile teams, what we call, which is nothing but breaking down your functional silos, cutting across the functional silos. Agile product delivery. How do you make sure that we continuously deliver a world-class product, right? We increment our product. And again, one of the important things there is applying design thinking principles. The double diamond model, or the model which Stanford University came out in 1973, those can be applied as a part of your customer centricity. So we have tools like empathy map, you have tools like customer journey maps, right? Prototyping, wireframes, etc., test, etc. So that's something what we do as a part of our agile product delivery, bringing about a culture of innovation, bringing about a culture of bettering ourselves from the last product delivery what we have. And one fundamental thing which also agile product delivery talks about is that this is a fundamental mistake we also make many times. We consider deployment and release to be same. We think that deployment and release are same thing, right? So I say that, okay, I have deployed my product, you should be able to use it. No, there's a difference between deployment and release, which is what this is talking about. You develop on cadence. So cadence means discipline. You develop on cadence, but you only release it when there is a demand. When there is a when the you release it to the customer when the customer is really hungry for that feature, when the customer really is yearning for that product or that feature, you only then release it, right? So there are many organizations which deploy a feature into a production, but they don't release it. They use a concept called as a feature toggle. So feature toggle is a concept where they hide that feature from the end users. They release it only when it is required, right? So that is separating release from your deployment, right? So that is what we have it here. And then the continuous delivery pipeline, or the CDP, which comprises of three main sections: continuous exploration, which is improving yourself, inspect and adapt and improving yourself; continuous integration, which means your code is continuously integrated. It is not kept on desktop machines. It is integrated at any point in time. We have a version available from the main branch which you can pull out and continuously deploy the code into the production environment, right? So we have continuous exploration, continuous integration, and continuous deployment. So that comes in as a part of your agile product delivery, what we have. All right. Let us move ahead. Next, we move ahead to enterprise solution delivery. So from agile product delivery, we move to enterprise solution delivery. This is applicable in case of a large solution in SAFe. Now, again, three important aspects there. So what are the three important aspects? Lean systems and solutions engineering, right? Applying the concept of lean, applying the concept of solution engineering and lean. So that is lean. Lean is waste reduction. Identify the non-value added. So lean system and solution engineering, then coordinating the various trains. So solution train comprises of multiple trains, right? It comprises of multiple trains, as you can see here. And that is coordinating across multiple trains and suppliers, and continuously or continually evolve life system, which means our continuous delivery pipeline results in a increment of the product at periodic intervals. So that is your continually evolve life system. So this is enterprise solution delivery, what we have. So from agile product delivery to enterprise solution delivery. Next we move to lean portfolio management. Now, this is a very vast area, and this mainly talks about basically using a different way of budgeting, right? So, most of our budgeting is done through this AOP, right? Annual operating plan, or we have this yearly budgets. So, lean budgeting talks about not funding projects but funding value streams. Okay, so rather than funding projects and then trying to figure out if there's a cost escalation or if there's a price escalation, how do we go about and re-baseline our budget? Lean portfolio management predominantly talks about how to get that approval for funding for a value stream rather than for a project. How do we bring about a culture of lean governance? How do I make sure that the team is empowered, the team right at a ground level is empowered? And agile portfolio operations. How do I manage the entire portfolio, which is at the topmost layer, by the way, right? So portfolio is at the topmost layer. So how does this portfolio is managed? The LACE, what we call it, lean agile center of excellence, that will be the key driver to bring about lean portfolio management, which includes strategic and investment funding, lean governance, and agile portfolio operations, what we have. Okay, moving ahead. Organization agility. When we talk about scaled agile framework, obviously we are looking at an enterprise or at a government kind of enterprises, right? So how do we actually diffuse this agility at an organization level rather than restricting it to a team level? How do we actually expand it, right? How do we enhance it? Maybe at a business unit level, at an organization level, or at a sub-organization level. How do you bring about it? So one, of course, is your entire lean business operation. So it is not just IT. It could be your HR, it could be a finance, it could be your operations team. How do we bring about agility at across the organization? Business agility, if I were to put it, not just your IT, but even your non-IT departments, your non-IT organization units are going to reap the benefits of agile. So that's what is lean business operations, lean thinking people and agile teams, right? So how do I bring about a culture where people think about eliminating waste, right? Think about identifying and eliminating waste, right? How do we identify those 7 wastes, and how do we make a conscious attempt to eliminate some of those waste or at least reduce those waste? And thinking about agility at a strategic level, whether it's at an enterprise level or at a governance level, how do I bring about agility? So this is what this principle, this is what this core competency, sorry, organization agility talks about. Okay, we have 2 more left. Continuous learning culture, I think very straightforward. How does an organization bring about a learning journey, right? How do they invest in learning of their associates? Be it through training programs, be it through knowledge sharing sessions, hackathons, conferences, internal events, right? System thinking. So all this comes in as a part of learning organization. How does the organization bring about an innovation culture? As I said, it could be through hackathons, it could be through innovation reptiles, or basically experimentation, demos, cross team demos, open demos. I mean, there are many ways in which organizations do this, right? And that actually encourages a culture of innovation in the team. And last but definitely not the least, relentless improvement, right? Relentless improvement means you are making a realization to your team that see, whatever you did so far is good. Yes, we're not saying that it is bad, but there is always a constant sense of danger, which means your competitor can go ahead at any point in time, right? Your competitor can go ahead any point in time, and instead of thinking about a piecemeal approach, think about the whole system, optimize the whole, bring about a culture of experimentation, bring about a culture of problem solving, and evidence-based or fact-based improvement, right? Something which is based on data points, the real life data from the field. You have to capture it and bring about it, right? So that comes in as a part of your relentless improvement journey, what we call it. And then, of course, how do I bring about a lean agile leadership? This is what's binding the other six. Like two important things: lead by example, being a role model for the transformation in the organization, leading change. The key person to lead the change agent, right? How do I encourage a culture of strong emotional intelligence in my team and build a very high psychological safety? So that comes in as a part of leading by example and leading by change, what we call it. And how do I encourage the famous Carol Dweck's theory to challenge my team to move from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset? How do I bring about that culture to move from a fixed mindset? Because the moment my team is in a fixed mindset, they are going to remain static. They are not going to think beyond the obvious. So how do I challenge them to move from a fixed mindset into a growth mindset, what we call, right? So this mainly applies the coaching techniques. This applies coaching techniques, challenging the team. Also, many times you'll find that the team is trying to play safe. They don't want to commit something because they fear that if it doesn't happen, they would be in trouble, right? Or they would be held accountable for it. So, how do I bring about a risk-taking culture? How do I bring about a culture of experimentation and innovation in my team? So that comes in as a part of my lean agile leadership, what we have here. Okay, and as I said, this all is tied up to the core part of it, which is customer centricity. So this is nothing but your customer centricity, where it is tied up, everything gets tied up to. Yeah, so pretty much this is what I wanted to cover as a part of, I would say, a very initial, I would say, a small introduction to what exactly are these four values and seven core competencies in SAFE. Again, the intent is not to replace the knowledge. Again, the intent is not to basically I mean, I mean, the literature is something which is an authentic source, but this is just my interpretation of those four core values and seven competencies what we have in a scaled agile framework. So with this, I now open up the floor for any questions anyone has. And yeah, feel free to ask if there are any questions. And if you want, you can come on a camera now. So you can now unmute yourself and you can ask any questions if any of you has any questions.
Yeah, hi, Ashutosh. This is Shripriya here. Am I
Yeah,
audible? Yeah,
yes,
hi.
yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. And the session was real and nice and interesting. I would like to hear from you about your practical experience of implementing the SAFE in any organization, where the challenges you faced, the learnings you had. Can you please share that experience?
Yeah, sure. See, as you would have seen, right? I mean, it is not. I mean, it's a framework at the end of the day.
Correct.
It's basically, as you can see, right? I mean, there are various layers in that framework, right? So
Mhm.
one thing I would always advise anyone who's going in for a safe implementation is to have enough patience. Okay, as coach, as a change agent, and that's what also came out in that slide, right? Lead by example, be that role model. See,
Mhm.
many times what will happen is there will be a tendency of people to say that, you know what, it is too overwhelming or it is too overarching kind of a framework. Now, this is where, as a coach, you have to give that assurance to your coaches that why that particular framework is like this, or why a particular event or a cadence is being talked about. So my experience has been that initial first two program increments are always going to be chaotic. They are never going to be smooth. Rarely you will find, in fact, forget rarely, never you will find that the first two program increments are very smooth. It is not a model for the fainted heart, as they say, right? I mean, a
Mhm.
lot of things have to be trained, a lot of people have to be trained, people have to be coached. And yes, we have to also understand the fact that there are different stakeholders in this framework, right? So basically aligning them together is a big challenge. So my take would be that even organizations, even we as change agents and coaches, we need to make sure that we have sufficient patience with us when we are implementing this model. And yes, I mean, the results usually start kicking in maybe after the third program increment. Just for the people, program increment consists of around 5 iterations. It's a
Mhm.
10-week duration consisting of 5 iterations. So when I say 3 program increments, it will be roughly around 30 weeks time frame, which I'm telling you.
Okay. So 30 weeks on a size of how big project? Because 30 weeks is a longer duration, so
Yes. Yes.
on.
So, and a typical art in a safe is between 50 to 125 people, an agile release train. So I'm talking from that numbers. So I'm talking mainly from those numbers where this 30 weeks is coming.
Mhm. Okay.
So again, remember, it is a scaled agile framework. It is not a scrum where we say that, okay, it's
Yeah,
for one team.
exactly.
Yeah, it is a
Yeah.
scaled agile framework for an enterprise level. Remember, so obviously you can't expect everything will fall in place in a week or a 2 weeks time, right? There will be
Mhm.
a learning curve, there will be challenges, there will be dependencies, there will be bottlenecks, and which is where this takes some time to come in, right? So it's like the COVID vaccine, right? It takes time to build an immunity, right? I mean, you can't expect that, okay, I've taken a COVID vaccine and suddenly I'm immune from COVID, right? I still have to take precautions. So it's something similar to that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Anyone? Any other questions? So folks on LinkedIn, I will answer your questions as we move along, because obviously you can't speak, but I will have a look at your questions in the chat and then answer them. Yeah. Anyone else? Any questions? Okay. In any case, do have a look at my YouTube channel. There are more videos. In fact, I'm going to put in more videos as we move along. Currently, we have 60 plus videos on the channel, which will help you in your journey of learning, I would say. So we have 60 plus videos are already available on the channel, on various topics, not necessarily scaled agile framework. There are topics related to product development, product management, Scrum Master, etc., the roles and responsibilities. So once again, I'm pinging the link to all of you. Please have a look at those videos. You can also search by my name. You will find my YouTube channel. And yeah, if you are interested, please do connect with me on LinkedIn also. I'll be more than happy to be connected and talk more around once you connect with me on LinkedIn. Yeah, any questions before we finally wrap up? Okay.